from a tree growing outside it, through which you can see a street. I stood by the window in my new attic room. The sun was rising, casting light across the room, and the shadow of tree branches painted beautiful patterns on the boxes cluttering my space. My new neighborhood feels far too unfamiliar. I'm used to the chaos of city streets and tall buildings, but here it's calm and quiet. It feels unusual and very strange to me. My parents believe this move is the start of a new chapter in my life. They keep repeating you'll be better off here, son. A new school, a new home, new friends, but new doesn't always mean better to me. At my old school, I was like a shadow. People barely noticed me, rarely talked to me, and even more rarely invited me anywhere. In all those years, I couldn't become one of them. They called me weird, withdrawn, and outsider, but never once called me a friend. My only friend is Rita. She always accepts me for who I am. I'm never afraid to be myself around her. She's always my salvation from depression and loneliness. We can talk for hours. She knows everything about me, and sometimes I feel like she knows me even better than I know myself. She always understands and supports me. Even silence between us has meaning, and most importantly, she always shows up when I need her. And now school is behind me. I had adapted to its rules and people. I had gotten used to my reality, and now I have to get used to a new one. But what will this new life and new reality be like? I whispered under my breath. Summer break lies ahead, and then university with its new rules, new people, and challenges of fate. But will it really be better here? Will I be happy here? Or maybe it will all turn into an even greater disaster? Time will tell. For now, I just need to settle into this new place. My new room doesn't look the best right now. Boxes with my stuff are scattered everywhere. Turns out I have quite a lot, though I never really thought so. The move made me see them in a different light. Many of these things I don't even need anymore, but at the same time, each item reminds me of a certain time in my life. I don't know if I'll be able to throw them away. Time will tell. Maybe this new life will give me a reason to let go of the old in favor of something better, something bigger. The conditions in our new house are perfectly livable. I chose the attic room for myself. Mom wasn't too thrilled with my decision, but she agreed. To me, this place has a certain charm. There's a big wooden bed, a matching desk, and a wardrobe. There's also a cozy armchair, my favorite thing in the room. I can already picture myself drawing or reading in it. I just need to rearrange the furniture so it feels comfortable and unpack my things. I don't want to do anything, I sighed, collapsing onto the bed. I lay there for a bit, then realized this process was unavoidable anyway, so I got up and started working. I moved the furniture around, pushed the bed into the corner, put the desk near the window. I decided to leave the wardrobe where there was no need to move it. Finally, I started unpacking. The first box had all my clothes. I folded everything neatly and placed it on the shelves. Looks nice, but I bet it won't last, I muttered with a smile. Next up was a box filled with random things, notebooks, sketchbooks, books, tons of pens and pencils. I never imagined I had this much stuff. I'm tired, I whispered and lay down on the floor. After a short break, I got back to organizing my new room. Box after box, I sorted everything into its new place. I got so caught up in the process that I didn't even notice it was already night. I had just a little left to do, just needed to pick up the last few things off the floor. While reaching for a pencil that heavily near my bed, I noticed a strange blue notebook underneath it. I picked it up, but I was so exhausted that I could barely stand or sit anymore. I desperately needed to lie down, as my last bit of energy had left me. I collapsed onto the bed, adjusted my pillow, pulled the blanket over my legs, and decided to flip through the notebook, hoping it would jog my memory. I didn't remember where it came from, when I bought it, or what I had written in it. But the moment I opened to the first page, I didn't even notice when I fell asleep. I woke up in the morning and found that the same notebook I'd gone to bed with was still in my hands. The strange thing is I hadn't even moved in my sleep. I was so exhausted, I must have passed out instantly, too tired to even roll over. Well then, let's see what's in there. I opened the notebook and started reading the first page. A chill ran down my spine. I read on, unable to believe my eyes. I was walking down the street. The guys were playing basketball on the court. My sworn enemy, Eric, saw me and hurled the ball straight at my face. Blood gushed everywhere. I ran home and read on one of the pages. Oh, damn it, is this my diary? I muttered under my breath. But I don't remember ever writing it. This has to be one of Rita's jokes. Of course, that girl loves her pranks. I flipped to another random page. Today, Alice sat in front of me during English class. I like her so much, if only I could tell her. There's no way Rita knew about this, I whispered. I decided I had to tell Rita about this weird situation. She's smart, she'll help me figure it out. Phone beeping sound. I dialed her number. The long beats were making me anxious. I hung up and called again, hoping she'd hear it. And finally the long-awaited hello. Hello? Why are you blowing up my phone? She said, clearly annoyed. I hope this is urgent and you didn't wake me up for nothing. You wouldn't believe what I've got here. Then tell me, I'm not awake enough to play. Guess what? Not over the phone. Come over. Ah, why do I deserve this? She yawned. Be right there. While Rita was on her way, I read a few more pages and still couldn't figure out what this was or who was playing tricks on me. Because the notebook had entries no one could possibly know, no one but me. Fights with my parents, thoughts about Alice, how I like her, not even Rita knows that, let alone anyone else. I devoured line after line. Every paragraph made my hair stand on end. This notebook wasn't fiction. These were my secrets, my life. But how could that be? Finally, the door to my room flew open and Rita rushed in, breathless. You're lucky I'm curious. If I hadn't found out what you wanted to say, I would have died from the suspense, she said with a smile and sat down on my bed. Come on, spill it already. What I'm about to tell you sounds like pure science fiction. Seriously. I handed her the notebook with trembling hands. What is this? It's a notebook about my life that I never wrote. Are you kidding me? You called me here this early to show me a notebook? Seriously? Just listen. I swear I didn't write a single word in it. Then who did, if not you? Listen, if you dragged me here just to mess with me, just read it. At first, I thought you wrote it as a prank or something, but there's stuff in here you couldn't possibly know. I didn't write anything. Give it here. Rita snatched the notebook out of my hands, flipped through the pages, and started scanning the dates, searching for today's entry. Wait, hold up. Are you in love with Alice? She looked up from the notebook and stared at me. Just keep reading. Having found the right date, she looked at me and said, Here it is, today's date. She began reading aloud. Everything was described there, even how the day would end. Okay, and this part you don't need to know. Well then, if this doesn't happen by the end of the day, I don't know what I'll do to you, but I guarantee you won't like it. She read the ending in silence, focused, not a single muscle on her face flinched. Then she abruptly shut the notebook and added, Let's see if any of this is actually true. Don't even think about opening the notebook and peeking. Got it? Alright, I mumbled under my breath. We went out for a walk. It was a sunny day, perfect for spending time outdoors. A soft breeze wrapped around my body. For a moment, I even forgot about that damn notebook. Walking lazily down the path, my eyes landed on an ice cream truck parked on the side. I It was beautiful white, with bright stickers of ice cream and fruit. A huge, colorful umbrella hung above it, probably visible from the start of the street. Cheerful music was playing from a speaker. "Oh, an ice cream truck! Let's get some! My treat!" Rita agreed, and we rushed over like happy little kids. I stared at the display case for a long time, reading the descriptions of each flavor, unable to pick even a cone on the first try. It felt like my choice held more weight than just taste. "Well, did you decide?" "I don't know. I can't choose," I muttered. I still looked on the display. "Did you pick one?" I turned to Rita. "I'm not you." "Of course I did. I love bubblegum. I don't even consider the others." "Then we'll take 2 bubblegum cones, please." "Here's your ice cream. Enjoy." "Thank you." We walked and ate our ice cream. It was genuinely delicious, a vivid mix of blue and pink, with bits of colorful candy. You couldn't imagine a more cheerful treat. "I'm officially declaring this the best ice cream I've ever had." "Told you," she smiled. On the horizon, the Ferris wheel slowly turned, as if inviting us aboard. I smiled and offered to ride it with Rhea. She loves swings, and this seemed like just another happy moment in today's day. But her face turned pale. In an instant, happy, carefree Rita became quiet and withdrawn. In a worried voice, she said, "Not today. I don't feel like it." She blurted out and headed toward a bench. "Weird. I thought you loved rides," I said, following her. "I still do, just not today." "Alright, then not today." "Wanna head home?" "Yeah, let's go. My legs are killing me." We dragged ourselves back home, legs aching like they were made of stone. I can't remember the last time I walked this much or felt this tired. Rita, walking into my room, rushed straight to the bed for the notebook. "Now I'll finally read you the ending, and you'll understand everything." But as soon as she opened it, not even 10 seconds passed, her face went pale, her eyes filled with horror and confusion. She froze, terrified, her gaze darting across the page as if searching for something. At first, I thought she was just messing with me. I had never seen her like that before. "What the hell? This is impossible!" she shouted, eyes wide as she stared at me. "What's wrong? What did you see?" The ending had changed. It's a completely different story now. Nothing like what I read before our walk. "Are you joking? If you are, this really isn't funny." It said we went out for a walk, picked bubblegum ice cream. You offered to ride the Ferris wheel, and I agreed. We went up, left, talked about the future. "But you didn't want to ride it." "Exactly. I refused on purpose. I wanted to change the course of events to prove to you that this notebook is just nonsense, some dumb prank." "But someone rewrote it, and how the hell did they do that?" Maybe you just read the wrong day?" "No, Leo, I know what I read and which day it was." "Then I really don't understand." I sat down next to Rita. We both stared at the notebook cover in silence. We weren't quiet because we had nothing to say. We were too afraid to say anything. It felt like the notebook might speak to us any second. I felt so helpless. My thoughts were a tangled mess. I didn't know what to do, what step to take, or where to even start looking for whoever owns this notebook. Someone or something is toying with me, watching, controlling what happens. And the scariest part, I'm afraid to open the last page, afraid to find out what's written there and what awaits me next. My thoughts were interrupted by Rita. "I've got it. Let's compare the handwriting with your classmates. You had some enemies, right?" "You know, I didn't really talk to anyone. But yeah, not exactly enemies still. Last year, a few people paid me way too much attention. Maybe they're the ones behind the joke." A rushed to my desk, rifling through drawers in a frenzy. I was looking for my yearbook, hoping that finally all the pieces would come together, that would find the truth. There it was, finally, buried at the bottom under all my stuff. Here on the last page, everyone wrote messages in pen, in their own handwriting. I muttered, staring at the album. I opened it, and both Rita and I leaned over the page. A dozen notes. We studied each letter, each scroll, searching for anything that resembled the notebook. But the more we compared, the clearer it became not a single match. None of them even came close, not in style, not in line work, not in slant. This was written by a completely different hand, a different person, or maybe not a person at all. Nothing, absolutely nothing, looks even close, and the handwriting itself is weird. It looks like it was written by a calligrapher. Every line is so perfect, it doesn't feel like normal handwriting. It's more like art, as if the writer had trained for years. There's no way a regular high schooler wrote this, I said angrily, slamming the notebook shut. At that moment, Rita's phone rang. It was her mom, and she had to leave. Sound of phone ringing. Yeah, Mom, I'm coming. She's mad. I have to go. I'll be back as soon as I can. I nodded as she left, and I was alone again, just me, my thoughts, and that damn notebook. It got too quiet. The silence annoyed me and scared me too. I lay down on my bed. The notebook sat on the desk as if it were watching me. The thoughts sent chills down my spine. Why did this have to happen to me? I muttered under my breath. I turned to the other side, trying not to even look at the notebook, but the thoughts kept crawling into my head. What if someone's watching me right now? I jumped out of bed. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it might explode. I ran to the window and yanked the curtains shut. No more street-away pouring in, and with that I felt a little safer. The door to my room was ajar. I hurried to close it as well. That was it, no cracks left open in the room. I returned to bed, pulled the blanket over my head, and tried to fall asleep. Or maybe it's Rita. Those were the last words before I fell asleep. Eyes opening. Waking up, I glanced at the desk. The blue notebook lay there motionless, as if waiting for me to wake. Not a dream, I sighed. I had hoped it was just a dream, that I'd wake up in the morning and the notebook wouldn't exist, but no, I'm forced to keep searching for the truth. If it weren't for this roof, there wouldn't be this notebook. I'd still be living my life as I was used to. But reality is very different. What if it's all just Rita's game? Could she have made it all up, just playing some strange trick on me, testing my nerves? But no, it can't be her. Her look, she was truly scared, like someone who has seen something better left locked away behind 7 seals. She went pale when she opened the notebook. So she's not lying. Besides, I never noticed her doing things like that. I pushed those thoughts of her away. I got out of bed, approached the desk, and took the notebook in my hands. My fingers hesitated as I started flipping the pages. To be honest, I didn't really want to read what awaited me. I was afraid to see something bad. I wasn't ready. What if this notebook wants me to know what happens next? Or maybe not to know? I'm confused, I muttered, resting my head in my hands. I grabbed the notebook and nervously flipped through page after page, searching for today's date. Suddenly, I felt a tug. I snapped the notebook open at the very end. I was fed up with the waiting, the silence, the unknown. Enough. I have to know how it ends. What to prepare for? Here it is, the last page. If it's all decided without me, now is the time to read it. Now everything will be clear. I sighed deeply. I lifted my head and stared at the ceiling. That unpleasant chill ran across my skin again, tightness in my chest, and that silence, absolute silence, so loud it was ringing in my ears. I started reading slowly. After each word, boosons ran over my body. The day was described in detail. I was afraid of the ending, but there was no point in delaying the inevitable. Just one more page to turn, and everything will become clear. I closed my eyes eyes and began psyching myself up to finish reading. My hands trembled, my heart raced even faster. I took a deep breath, then exhaled. I breathed in and out, again and again. Feeling a bit better, I muttered. The silence in my room was shattered by Rita's arrival. She burst in like a thunderclap on a clear day, so loud I jumped. "What are you doing? I figured out how it ends." She slammed the door and ran up to me. "And how?" I mumbled, resting my head on the desk. "Are you reading the last page?" "Yeah, what of it?" "Why? Don't get hooked on that stupid notebook." "Then what should I do?" "We'll destroy it." "Destroy it?" I asked, surprised. "Yeah, burn it to ashes," she shouted happily and clapped her hands. For some reason, I'm not as excited as you are. Too bad. No notebook, no problem. But what if... Rita cut me off. What if... I know what you want to say. I even know what you're thinking. Do you really want that damn notebook to control your life? Don't cling to it. But what if the notebook disappears and so do I? Nonsense. What else are you going to come up with? I sat there staring at the notebook, yet decided maybe I should listen to Rita. Maybe she's right. Maybe it's the only way out. Well, with the devil's luck, let's try. Let's go outside. Screen fade to black. We sat on the ground, looked at each other. I felt something inside twist and squeeze, but at the same time calm down. We understood each other without words. "We'll get rid of it once and for all, okay?" she said softly, with a worried tone. I hope so, I really do. Rita decisively grabbed the notebook, placed it on the ground, pulled a lighter from her pocket, clicked it to check for fuel, then handed it to me. I nodded and took the lighter. I turned it over and over in my hands, shifting it from one to the other, studying it. But finally, I dared and set the notebook on fire. The edge of the cover blackened. Smoke swirled into the air. A few seconds later, we watched the flames leap up, burning centimeter by centimeter, page by page, erasing every letter, erasing day after day. But something inside wouldn't let me sigh with relief. I watched as my fear, my past, and the future outline in that notebook burned away. After a few minutes, all that remained was black ash, which now scattered at the slightest breath of flame. And this story would remain only in our memory. There, it's over. The notebook is gone. Yeah, gone. I exhaled. Wanna go skateboarding? Great idea. Let's go. And let's celebrate with some bubblegum ice cream, she added with a smile. Oh, yes! We were racing through the park on our skateboards with Rita, laughing and having fun. The wind was hitting our faces and it felt like life had become simple again, just like before. No notebook, no fear that someone might be watching me, no more eerie premonitions. There was only us, the board, the road, and bubblegum ice cream. Leo, look! I learned how to do a spin. She stopped abruptly and almost fell. Impressive. Well, almost, I laughed in response. We stopped, sat on the curb, and were finishing off the nearly melted ice cream, which was now dripping down our fingers. The sunset lit the sky with orange hues. I stared off into the distance, not wanting to go home. In that moment, I felt calm and at peace. I lay on my back and started studying the patterns in the clouds. Rita lay down beside me. That was a great day. I looked at Rita. Agreed, but it's time to go home. Mom will be mad again and start lecturing me. I hate lectures. Oh, let's go, I sighed. I walked Rita to her house. She ran inside. I headed home slowly, carrying my skateboard in my hands. A gentle evening breeze blankets wrapped around my body. The streets were getting quieter. People were heading back to their homes. The street along the road had already started to glow. Windows in the houses were lit, every family gathering for the evening. Everything started to feel normal again, real. I approached my house, stepped into the yard, past the same garage where just hours ago we had burned that notebook. The wind blew lightly again, and from the corner of the house, a half-burned piece of paper flew out and landed right at my feet. A wave of anxiety swept over me, growing with every second. First, it was just a chill across my skin, and now it felt like someone had dropped a heavy stone on my chest. I froze. Something's not right here, I muttered to myself and headed into the house. My palms were sweaty, my throat dry, but I didn't let it show. Maybe I was being watched right now. Let them think I don't care about their games. I entered my room and closed the door tightly behind me. I scanned the room. Damn, the window. I rushed to it and drew the curtains closed. I collapsed onto the bed, the last thread of certainty that everything was over cracked like ice underfoot. I just need to fall asleep, I murmured to myself. This is paranoia. We burn it, it's over. It's just a tiny scrap covered in burn layers. Probably the wind picked it up from the ground. That's normal. I kept trying to convince myself that it was normal. I repeated those words like a mantra. I looked at the desk. It was empty, no notebook, just my phone, a nightlight, and a half-finished cup of tea. That meant everything was fine. My thoughts were crushing me, but I resisted. Eye closing. I pulled the blanket over my head like a child hiding from a monster under the bed. My eyelids grew heavy, and I didn't fight it. I wanted the night to end as quickly as possible. Eye opening. I opened my eyes and stretched. The sun beamed through the window, casting beautiful patterns on the walls. The day had started off well. I even managed to get some sleep. I threw off the blanket and sat up in bed. No. Damn it, I muttered in shock. Where's my phone? I need to call Rita, I mumbled to myself. Picking up my phone, I tried to find Rita's number. Everything was blurry either from fear or because my eyes were holding back tears. My hands were shaking so much I couldn't hit the buttons properly. Busy signal tone in the receiver. Hello? Come to my place, please, right now. What happened? I didn't answer. I hung up and sat on the bed, hugging my knees to my chest. I could feel the chill running through my body, my arms and legs slowly going numb. I wanted to cry but held it in. My life was falling apart and I couldn't do anything about it. Someone jerked the doorknob violently, making me jump, then again and again. Leo, it's me, open up. Right, Rita was supposed to come. I didn't answer right away. I just kept sitting there, hugging myself, staring blankly through the wall, into nothing. Leo, are you there? She yelled, still shaking the doorknob. I slowly got up from the bed, and the moment I opened the door, she burst into the room like a thunderclap. What took you so long? I thought you were dead. It was supposed to be over. We burned it. We destroyed it, I replied in a trembling voice. What? She turned sharply to me and shouted. Look at the desk. I pointed in its direction. Rita walked over and dropped into the chair. No, she collapsed into it. I turned back to the bed, sat down again, hugging my knees, resting my head on them. Okay, this is insane. I don't think so, I murmured. If it can't be burned, maybe we can drown it, she added with a smile. I lifted my head and looked her straight in the eyes. Are you kidding right now? I'm trying to find a solution. Do you have any other ideas? Sure, read the last page and accept your fate. Oh, can we skip the drama? listened to you and read it right away, none of this would have happened. None of what? Go on, say it, as if you know what would have happened. And then suddenly, I looked at Rita and it hit me. One thought, like a single drop but heavy as stone. What if it's her? What if this is all her doing? I stared at her, trying to spot even the smallest clue, something in her behavior, her words, her actions, trying to understand her motive. I had always trusted her. She was the first and only one who knew about the notebook. She was always there when I was scared. She knew all my thoughts, where I went, what I did. She could have easily written that notebook. She's always around. She has access to the notebook, this room, my phone. She could plan it at just the right moments. I stared at her and thought. She was saying something, but I couldn't hear, only the motion of her lips. My thoughts were tearing me apart. How could she do this to me? I trusted her. I opened my soul, let her into my life, and she's mocking me like this? Why? It had to be her. She's always there, always where something strange happens. She shows up exactly when things go wrong, and she always has a solution. I shouldn't keep making excuses for her, but what's her motive? What did I ever do to her? I don't know, but I can't stay silent anymore. Her voice shattered my thoughts. She even shouted, "Hey, Leo, are you even here? Who am I talking to?" She yelled nervously. "Why are you looking at me like a statue?" she said with a smile. "Why are you doing this?" I said in a quiet, calm voice. "Doing what?" she replied, confused. "I figured it out, everything. You don't have to fake it anymore. I know it's you." "What the hell are you talking about?" "The notebook, it's your doing, isn't it?" "Are you okay? Leo, you're becoming paranoid. Get help." "Stop lying already. No one else could have done this but you." "Screw you, Leo. What kind of friend are you? I run over here like an idiot, wipe your tears, calm you down, and you..." I jumped up from the bed, agitated. What kind of friend am I? You're the one lying. You made up this stupid notebook. You're playing this whole act. But why? Just to drive me insane. "We have nothing left to talk about. I don't want to see you or talk to you anymore." She looked at me, her eyes full of tears. "Sit here with your precious notebook and whine some more. Then leave and take that stupid notebook with you and get out." I threw the notebook on the floor. Rita turned and silently walked to the door. She turned to me and shouted, "Don't ever call me again." She slammed the door so hard that the picture on the wall tilted. I fell to the floor next to the notebook, closed my eyes and just lay there. I couldn't even move. The air felt heavy and every breath cut through my lungs. I still couldn't understand why she kept lying. Why didn't she just confess? Maybe she enjoyed my fear, enjoyed being in control. I suddenly sat up, looked at the notebook again, and picked it up. "When does this story end?" I muttered, clutching the notebook. No answer, not even a hint. Just silence in me. I stood up abruptly, threw the notebook on the desk, and grabbed my skateboard from under the bed. "I seriously need to clear my head," I said firmly. Quietly left my room. The door creaked as if on purpose, letting the whole house know I was leaving. I was already at the stairs when my mom appeared. I didn't want to talk, but there was no hiding. She was holding a cup of tea and started talking. "Mother, where are you going, son?" "Just going for a walk," I answered, stopping near her. "Mother, I feel like something's wrong with you lately." "I'm fine. You're just imagining things." "Mother, you're not yourself. Always on edge. You don't even come down to eat." "I just eat in my room, Mom." "Mother, I feel like something's really wrong." I Don't worry, I'm okay, honestly. Mother, you know I'm always here if you need anything. Yeah, I know, I love you, Mom, but I need some fresh air alone. She looked at me for a second, as if searching for truth in my eyes. Then she nodded and gently took my hand. Mother, I love you too. Call me if anything happens, okay? Okay, I won't be long. I walked on step by step, hoping to finally be alone. I stepped outside, placed my skateboard on the pavement, pushed off and sped forward. The wind hit my face with warm air, a pleasant feeling. For the first time in days, I tried not to think about anything. Just ran as fast as I could. I rolled up to the familiar ice cream truck. Good afternoon. Could I get bubble gum? 2 scoops, please. Afternoon. Strange to see you alone. Where's your friend today? I don't know if she's still my friend or not, I said, lowering my head. Had a fight? He said, handing me the cone. Yeah, I said with a sigh. Everyone argues and makes up sometimes. You'll be fine. I didn't answer. I just smiled and walked away. I sat on a bench near the truck and started eating my ice cream. But it didn't taste the same. Without her, the flavor felt different. I was used to eating ice cream only with Rita. What if it's not Rita? What if I overreacted and just took my anger out on her? I mumbled to myself. That thought crept into my mind unnoticed, but it stuck. Maybe I was a bit wrong, or more than a bit. She's my friend after all, always there for me. I was just exhausted and snapped at her. I looked at the sky. The sun was already dipping below the horizon, painting it in orange shades. I sighed and took a bite of my ice cream. I'm definitely losing my mind, I sighed. I could have sat and watched the clouds for much longer, but I promised my mom I wouldn't be out too long. I don't want to cause her any more discomfort. She's probably already worried about me. I ruined everyone's life every once. After finishing the last bite of my ice cream, I headed back. The road home was quiet. There were fewer cars and fewer people. Outside, it smelled like flowers and freshly cut grass. Near my house, I tucked my skateboard under my arm and went inside. Mom immediately peeked out from the kitchen. There was relief in her eyes, as if she had been sitting there all this time just waiting for me. Mother, you're home already? Yeah, I'm going straight to my room. I'm tired and really want to sleep. Mother, what about dinner? She added with a disappointed voice. Ice cream ruined my appetite, so I definitely won't eat, but if I want something later, I know where the fridge is. Mom didn't ask any more questions or argue. She just nodded in agreement. That silence was a real gift to me. The last thing I wanted right now was a lecture or scolding. Thank God it went smoothly this time. I guess I got lucky somewhere. I quickly ran up the stairs so she wouldn't change her mind. Once in the room, I locked the door tightly and dared to look into the notebook. I sat at the desk, took a deep breath, and exhaled sharply. Opening the notebook, I found today's date and began to read. Everything matched, every detail of this day exactly like in real life. I slammed it shut, hitting it loudly with my palm and pushing it to the other side of the desk. I nervously stood up from the chair and kicked it so hard it fell over. And I, like the chair, collapsed face first onto the pillow. My eyes and head hurt terribly. My body felt like it wasn't mine. The only thing I wanted was to just sleep, and in that sleep to have silence. No dreams, no notebook, no Rita, no mom, just darkness. Of eyes opening. I woke up early in the morning, the sun just beginning to rise over the horizon, but I felt like I hadn't slept at all. My head still ached a dull pain that only grew, sitting like a weight in the back of my skull. For some reason, I didn't want to get out of bed at all. The blanket felt heavy, like it was holding me down. I tossed and turned, trying to find a comfortable position to fall asleep again, but no. I tried once more to close my eyes and get some sleep, but it didn't work. And I wanted so much to postpone this day, this reality. There was no sound in the house. Outside the window was all so quiet, like the whole world was asleep or calm, but I was still here. Reality can't be changed, unfortunately, I murmured and got out of bed. I sat at the desk, staring into the notebook without blinking, just trying to prepare myself and finally finish reading it, to put a full stop at the end of this whole story. Maybe the time has come. I took the notebook in my hands, my fingers trembling, opened the last page but didn't look inside yet. Well then, I murmured. Goosebumps ran down my spine, fear mixed with curiosity, becoming the only feeling making my breath hitch. My voice trembled, but I began reading aloud, skipping between lines because the desire to know my end was tearing me apart inside. 26:4. I woke very early, before the sun even started to rise on the horizon. Life is beating me hard and I can't hold on much longer. There were 15 days left until the last day in the notebook. I swallowed hard and continued reading. I went outside with my favorite skateboard. I just rode, didn't really care where. Every line felt alive, like I really wrote it. I swallowed my dry saliva. I was scared, really scared. I stopped by the ice cream truck, took my favorite bubblegum flavor, then went on, rolling down a hill so fast I couldn't catch my breath. I looked away from the notebook. I felt as if I was running out of air, just like in this diary. I grabbed my chest with my hand, stood up and opened the window, took a deep breath, but it didn't get any easier. I flipped the page to get closer to the end. I wanted to know how it all ends as soon as possible. I had no strength to postpone this moment. The last page, this is where it all ends, the last lines. I stopped by the water tower. It seemed much taller than I had thought. I threw my skateboard into the grass, grabbed the metal ladder with my hands. It was very cold. Every rung creaked under the weight of my body, and rust left leos on my fingers. But I didn't stop. I climbed further. I'm already at the top of the tower. The feeling of freedom floods me. The wind slaps my face with cold blows. I closed the notebook. My intuition rarely fails me, and now is exactly the moment when I am sure what will happen next. This is the end, my end, I murmured. Tears ran down my cheeks in a river. I need to make up with Rita. I don't want to be alone, and I don't want her to think badly of me. Phone ringing. I called Rita, but it was useless. She didn't pick up. But that's not surprising. I behaved like the worst kind of jerk. I pushed away the one who was always there for me. She didn't care who it was, or if others talked to me or would talk to her. And I couldn't handle my emotions and just poured all the dirt I held inside onto her. I know where she might be, I murmured to myself. I closed the notebook and put it in my backpack, wrapped my skateboard under my arm, and slipped out of the house so Mom wouldn't notice. I think this time she definitely won't let me go so easily, and a long lecture about the meaning of life and all that nonsense awaits me. She doesn't know that my life now depends on some blue notebook. Leaving the house, I got on my skateboard and set off to find Rita. Somehow, I was sure she was at the skate park. My intuition didn't fail me. Rita was here practicing her new trick, not noticing anything or anyone around. I stood aside, watching her from afar. On the way here, my head was full of words of apology and explanations. I imagined how I would tell her I regretted what I said, that those were emotions that overwhelmed me, that I miss her, that I longed for our friendship. But now, except for hi, I had no idea what to say. My mind was blank. I stood there, desperately searching for the right words in my head, trying to form at least something meaningful from the stream of thoughts in my mind. But those thoughts didn't really form sentences. Oh, maybe like this. Rita, I'm sorry. I was rude. I'm stupid. I couldn't handle my emotions, I whispered to myself, rehearsing lines for Rita. What a fool, I rolled my eyes nervously and exclaimed. Or maybe I should make a speech. Why all these formalities and prepared phrases? Maybe I should just go up and tell the truth straight. Rita, hi. The notebook says I'll die in a few days. Maybe we can make up? I sighed heavily. My nerves were starting to break. Inner chaos was growing. My life was going off plan again. And as always, I wasn't ready for it. I still dared, took a deep breath in and out, and walked toward Rita. Every step was hard, as if a 100-kilogram weight was tied to my feet. But I walked slowly, hesitantly, but I knew I needed it. Rita kept skating, talking to friends, not noticing me. I approached closer, stopped, and barely managed to say, Rita, can I talk to you for a minute? She turned her head toward me. Her smile vanished instantly. She theatrically rolled her eyes, as if she had seen something utterly unbearable. She sighed and spoke in a displeased voice. What are you doing here? I came to talk. If there's nothing to talk about between us, she turned and walked the other way. Wait, please. I quickly followed her. You want me to say the same things you told me? In her eyes, I saw only the bitterness of disappointment toward me. She wasn't just offended, I felt it in every cell of my body. Rita! Get lost! She waved her hand at me irritably. She suddenly stepped on her skateboard and rode away. I was stunned. Never in my life had she acted like that toward me. I didn't know what to say or do in that moment. I took my skateboard and went to the abandoned bowl. It wasn't just that no one skated there, no one even remembered this place anymore. The floor was all rotten and cracked, and branches were sprouting from under the concrete everywhere. This place had long stopped me about you. I'd rather the opposite, but that's exactly what I needed right now. To hide from everyone and be alone, this place was just right. Perfect, I murmured, approaching the spot. I didn't come here just like that, I had a plan. I would open today's gate and find where Rita went and where to look for her. Well, this notebook should bring me not only trouble but some help as well. I sat right in the center of the bowl, feeling like no one could see me from any angle. Right now, I didn't want to talk or argue, especially about relationships. My nerves were already at their limits. Knowing my life, it was quite possible that at any moment they'd find something to hit me with, even if I tried my best to avoid problems. I took the notebook from my backpack, put it under my head, and began searching for today's day. This was the first time I wasn't afraid of Rita. On the contrary, I was looking for what I needed. I scanned my eyes long, searching for the right moment. Here it is! Rita sat alone on the terrace floor and slowly rose higher and higher, staring into the distance. I didn't intend to read further. Whatever it said, good or bad, I intended to make up with Rita. I slammed the notebook shut and shoved it back into my backpack. The Ferris wheel was only a 5-minute skate ride away, so I quickly headed there. I felt a slight nervousness, but the desire to have a friend again was stronger. On the way, I stopped by the ice cream truck. Good afternoon. Alone again, yo girlfriend? Actually, right now, I want to change that, I said with a smile. 2 bubblegum ice creams, please. Here you go. Good luck. He smiled and winked at me. I thanked him and got back on my skateboard, holding 2 sweet cones. I was glad I stopped by the truck. That man gave me a little more confidence that everything would be alright and I was on the right path. Who would say no to bubblegum ice cream? I muttered under my breath. Here I am already in the Ferris wheel. The sun was blinding me right in the face. I squinted and began looking closely at the figures on the wheel. They all blurred into one shape, but I was stubbornly searching for Rita. precious, I muttered under my breath. I ran up to the wheel and quickly jumped into her cabin. You should have seen your face just now, I said to Rita with a smile. Don't you get it the first time? She turned her gaze away. She had no choice. We were going higher, nowhere to run. Right here she had to listen to me. I handed her some slightly melted ice cream, hoping it would ease the tension between us. Ice cream is not to blame for me being a jerk. I laughed and handed her the cone. I know her and could see she was trying to hide a smile behind a grimace. Of course it's not to blame. She quickly took the ice cream from my hand. Sorry, I really didn't mean to hurt you. I don't know what came over me, what I thought about you. Truce? One ice cream won't buy you off, she smiled. How about hand scooters? I'll remember that. I read the last page, by the way. What did you do? I muttered, lowering my head. And what's in it? Oh, it's something. Tell me, quickly. In short, I'll die in a few days, I laughed. Damn, why are you laughing? She said irritably. It's hysterical now. Don't pay attention. But I have a plan. I'm not planning to die if anything. Oh, the plan is good. Will you tell me? Wanna come to my place? This is already the 5th round. I'm about to get sick. I've gone even more, can you imagine? We got off the wheel and slowly headed toward my house. I apologized a few more times on the way, just so she would definitely forgive me. Oh, ice cream truck. Someone still owes me, she smiled. You manipulator. Well, come on. Glad to see you. He looked at me with a smile. The usual? Yes, you sir. But I didn't finish. Rita interrupted me. 10 scoops, please. What flavor? I don't know. She smiled and looked at me. We exchanged glances with the seller. I had no choice. No one had me by the time. My first 10 miserable scoops. Good thing I had money. Otherwise, it would be very awkward. 10 scoops, please. They won't fit on one cone, so I'll make 3 cones for you, okay? Of course. Enjoy and have a nice evening, he said, handing over the cones. Hope you don't burst. Don't worry about me. We walked the familiar path toward my house, talking about nothing as before. Everything was fine. I even forgot for a second that my few days had been coming. She offered me a hand. Because honestly, I already feel like throwing up. Only to save you, I took 1 cone from her and laughed loudly. Approaching my house, we stopped by the fence. Rita, very quietly, so Mom wouldn't catch us. We don't have time to talk to you. We need to save my skin. Rita's silence is my middle name. She smiled. Middle. That's why I'm asking for quiet. I smiled. We quietly sneaked upstairs and quietly opened the door to my room. Never been so quiet before. I locked the door so no one could disturb us. And finally we could breathe out. Rita collapsed on the floor right at the door. What's wrong? I feel bad. I will never eat ice cream again. You should have taken even more. She's offended. I laughed. Oh, you! I sat on the bed, took the notebook out of my backpack. Come on, get up. There's no time to lie around. I'm coming. She got up and headed toward me. seconds of silence between us. I even heard her heavy breathing. I handed her the notebook. Just read it yourself, okay? If I cry, will you pretend you don't see it? The sudden nodded. She smiled at me, but it wasn't a smile of joy, rather a smile of sadness, and I felt sad too. Rita began to read the notebook, and her hands trembled like leaves in the morning. She read every last word. I saw tears in her eyes that she tried hard to hold back. And I silently watched, didn't interfere, just sat next to her quietly because these 10 words were unnecessary. She slowly closed the notebook, turned to me. She looked not just into my eyes, but tried to look straight into my soul. She was silent, and so was I, because words here were needless, and we both understood it perfectly. Well, I have a plan to change it all, so there's a chance. Can I help somehow? She said with a sad voice and handed me the notebook. I think it would be easier for me if you were just near me, like always, and smiling. What's your plan? You can't just sit and wait. I'm not sure it will help. I'm going to speed up the day of your death. Are you crazy? I've been trying to change the course of events, and you, by the way, tried too. Everything rewrites itself. The only thing that stays the same are the dates. All the days are counted, and maybe if you change the day,